All right, the time now is 8:10, and that means it's time to talk business. So for that, we say good morning to our business editor, Mike Eppel. Hi, Mike. How are you doing?
Hello there, Sarah. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well, but you know what would make me better? Sitting inside a Tim Hortons with a nice hot cup of coffee. Is this something that might be in the foreseeable future?
They're working on it. That's the best we can give you right now. And that's pretty much any company that is looking post-pandemic. What is the new normal going to look like? And the CEO of Restaurant Brands International, which operates Tim's and Burger King and Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen, was quite forthright in a memo to the company's franchises today, saying they're not sure of the timeline for reopening in store specifically and what that is going to look like. What they are basically projecting at this point is you go into a Tim Hortons, the current layout of the tables, well, they're going to be spaced further apart. There'll be only 4 people at a table at maximum. As soon as the customer leaves, that area will be completely wiped down, and then you start the process again. How much, our staffers going to have to wear masks, plexiglass shields, it's just on and on. It's trying to figure out exactly how this works. It'll all be based on local health officials' recommendations. And then will consumers, you talk about, it'll be nice to get back to that. But, you're hearing people saying, I don't want to go on a subway. I don't want to be around people. I'm worried until we get a vaccine. And there's nothing that actually says a vaccine is, foolproof.
Well,
it's difficult, to say the least.
We shared a poll that came out this morning saying more than 50% of Canadians still feel uncomfortable even going outside of their homes. So we might be
but that's not a surprise. That's not a surprise because that's what you hear, right? It's like stay away from people, and that this is highly transmissible. Yes, and so until that mindset is shifted and we get used to the new normal, I suppose. Yeah, things are going to be tough to go on.
Okay, I want to make sure that we talk about oil because you described it as being on the move.
This morning. Yeah, it is 5%. Saudi Arabia is cutting production another 1 million barrels, which is pretty good, at least for the market. Crude futures up to $26 a barrel this morning, so a little lift for the energy sector, and goodness knows it needs it.
And why, Mike, is United Airlines in some hot water this morning?
Because Twitter is, well, the root of all criticisms of any misstep, I shall say.
Well, this
United
was
Airlines
bad. Have you seen the picture?
Well, yeah, a passenger sent out a tweet of a packed 737 run by United. There's no separation of anyone. The middle seat is occupied pretty much in every row. United got blowback, as you might expect. They tweeted back to this customer and said, okay, going forward, we're shifting our policy. If you think the plane's too overcrowded, you can take the next flight or whatever. We're trying to make people feel comfortable. This gets back to what we were just talking about, right? Consumers, how you're getting out of, well, in my case, the basement to travel once again. And that's people are going to get used to it. But at the same time, companies have to be really aware of what their messaging is and how they are dealing with crowd control and spacing.
I'm sure you, along with many others, are counting down the days until they can get out of the basement. At least it's not your parents' basement, right, Mike?
No, it is not. Thankfully.
Okay. We're going to leave it there for today. I'll see you at the same time tomorrow. But if you'd like to hear more from Mike Eppel, our business editor, he's on 660 News. But right now, let's take a look at the markets.
This portion of BT is brought to you by 660 News, Calgary's breaking news, weather, and traffic station.